Welcome. The purpose of this video is just to raise your awareness and perhaps educate you a little bit more on the product called Access. It comes in bars or shakes, and you'll see here the Access bars come in 6 different flavors at this time: the coconut craze, the mint chocolate ice, the caramel cruncher, peanut butter, raspberry, and s'mores. And it's actually designed as a fat burning conversion bar to really unlock your endurance. So let's first all find out, where did this bar come from? It's got a lot of research, 18 years of research. And this is Dr. Wang, you see up in the upper right-hand corner. He was born in China and grew up in Taiwan. He moved to the United States, earning a master's degree in biology and then a PhD in animal physiology. And then he spent the next 35 years at the University of Alberta. This inventor has 12 patents. He's the author of 5 books, and he has more than 150 original scientific research papers and reviews. So he's a pretty smart man. I've had the pleasure of meeting him and learning a lot more about his research and what he's done. He was fascinated with physiology, particularly the areas of the energy use and fat metabolism. So he studied ground squirrels for more than 20 years and discovered that for 6 to 8 months of the year that they eat nothing and they drink nothing, but they are able to survive harsh winters, providing themselves with heat, energy, and liquid. How do they do it? Well, they burn fat to do it. So Dr. Wang, in studying the ground squirrels, found this unique ability to tap into their fat storages, utilize their own body fat on command. The result was they could lose weight by springtime. So this brought him to the study and the creation of the Access bar. And once he created the bar, he came to Melaleuca as a manufacturer to make the bar to get it onto the market. So let's talk about why there's chocolate in every one of the bars. I get asked that quite often, especially by people who don't like chocolate, which, first of all, I don't understand that at all. But Dr. Wang's goal was to allow humans to duplicate the amazing fat-burning abilities of the ground squirrel. So to do that, he knew that he needed to find a way to block the negative effects of adenosine, and we'll be talking about that hormone in a moment. But after countless tests and years of researching for ideal ingredients, he finally discovered what he had been looking for his whole career. He discovered not only a way to effectively block adenosine, but that there was a way to do it using natural ingredients, naturally occurring compounds known as xanthines. So the xanthines are a class of natural substances found in a number of different plants. Dr. Wang found that the beans of specific species of the cocoa tree or the cocoa tree contain an extremely high concentration of numerous amounts of these xanthines. So I didn't want to get too technical with this information, but I want you to understand that not all cocoa is created equal. The unique cocoa that the Access bar use only grows in a limited area around the Earth's equator. The cocoa is then shipped to the Netherlands, where it undergoes a special process to give it a milder taste and a smoother texture while preserving the critical natural ingredients. So that's what is used in the actual Access bar. So when you go to look at the ingredients list, you don't understand that when you just look at the ingredients list. So many times I have people look at it and say, oh my gosh, these ingredients, no, there's just no way that this is a special bar. There's no way, because they're trying to read ingredients or look at amount of fat or amount of carbs or amount of sugar or protein or whatever. And really, they don't even know what they're looking for. So it's important to understand how this bar is made and why it works. Now, sometimes I get asked, why would I want to consume 130 calories before I go work out when I'm trying to actually burn them? Well, Access has a purpose. This is a purpose bar. Now, I want to talk a little bit about adenosine. I mentioned it earlier. Adenosine is an important hormone that is actually for sleep regulation. So while you're awake, the level of adenosine in your brain continues to rise. The increasing level of this compound signals a shift towards sleep. So when you sleep, your body breaks down the adenosine. We also consider the adenosine what we would call a fat guard. It's a protector. It blocks your ability to burn fat. So adenosine has a purpose. It helps you for sleep, right? But it also is not something that you want during the day while you're working out and you're trying to, burn fat and you're trying to utilize your stored fat as energy. So your body is programmed to stored fat. We learned that through the ground squirrels. It's a survival instinct. When you exercise, this natural fat guard called the adenosine is released, and the adenosine slows fat burning, it saps your energy, and it reduces muscle power. So when the adenosine is formed, it latches onto the receptors of our fat cells, our muscle cells, and our nerve cells. Adenosine forms a tight bond on the receptor sites, greatly hindering their normal activity. So let's talk about each one of those cells individually. So when the adenosine attaches itself to the fat cells, it's actually slowing the deployment of fat. As the body burns through its supply of sugar, it switches to the fat for the fuel, but the adenosine interferes. So it reduces the body's ability to burn the fat for energy. The next part is the nerve cells. So by attaching itself to the nerve cells, the adenosine will minimize the transmission of the nerve signals to your muscles. It slows muscle fiber recruitment. So for an example, instead of your body being able to use 100 muscle fibers to run on and lift weights, it will utilize 75. And lastly, by adenosine attaching to the muscle and nerve cells, it works like a handbrake. So it pulls back. It's, how a handbrake works in a car. It'll just pull back and it'll make it much harder and harder to do the same activity. So what we want you to see is the benefits of blocking this hormone. And that's what you'll get when you take the Access Bar. Another ingredient I want to touch on, just so that you understand just the power of this bar, is CLA. CLA is conjugated linoleic acid. It's a fatty acid that's found abundantly in nature, and only the purest form of CLA, naturally sourced from safflower, is used in the Access Bar. I want you to know this ingredient contains no stimulants, no harsh chemicals, and has none of the negative side effects common with other fat burners. So be careful of the fat burners that you're finding on the market. I really cringe when I see people shopping on Amazon.com for their nutritional needs and their supplies. Amazon.com is not the place to go for that. You want to go directly to the manufacturer. So inside the Access Bar is this CLA fat burning machine. It's a powerhouse. It's natural, it's patented, and it's going to help your body burn more fat efficiently. The other things that it does is it increases your rate of fat metabolism. It'll also help improve your muscle tone and keep the fat off. And it's particularly effective in the midriff and in the middle of your body, in your waist, and in your legs. So this is clinically proven to work. You can research that a little bit more if you'd like. But I want to also explain a little bit about the way that your body uses fat as a resource. Okay, so fat is really your ideal energy source. However, it requires a little flame of carbohydrates to keep it burning. The trick is creating the ideal environment for burning fat. For an example, too few carbs, your fat will not fully burn. Too many carbs, and you'll trigger an insulin response that shuts down your fat consumption. So are you starting to get it? Let's talk about the way that sugar works when you go to burn your sugar for fuel. So if you eat something that has sugar in it, yeah, it's the first energy source that your body wants to use, and it's going to provide instant energy, that's for sure. But it burns out quickly, and it can lead to tiredness and fatigue, that sugar crash. It also is a slower energy recovery. Whereas if you use fat for your fuel, originally it takes longer to access and it's not as easily accessed without the Access Bar, but it will provide more sustained energy and faster energy recovery. So I hope this slide shows you just the importance of utilizing your fat for your energy instead of carbs or sugar. Here's how you actually take the bar. To get the most from the Access bar or the drink, you simply consume it 15 minutes before beginning your activity. This is going to give your body the time that it needs to kickstart the fat burning process, provide a long-lasting fat burning action, and so that you have the energy that you need to work out better and stronger. It works for 2 hours. So if I'm working with somebody who, let's say, is going to run a half marathon or a marathon, well, for some people that half marathon or marathon is going to take longer than 2 hours. So every 2 hours, I would administer the bar. And I know when I ran my marathon, I chopped the bar up into little pieces and just put it in a little plastic baggie. And then after 2 hours of running, somebody handed me the baggie on the run, and then I was able to open it up and eat the little chunks along the way. That was the source of energy that I used when I personally ran my marathon, and it worked excellent. So yes, it's effective for 2 hours as you're working. Now, sometimes people ask me, well, what happens if I eat? Maybe you're not working out right away in the beginning of your day. What if I eat? Well, just wait an hour after you eat, because your stomach contents need to be out of your stomach. So if you ate just a normal smaller meal, it takes about an hour to empty those contents. If you ate a big meal, first of all, I would say, hey, you might want to consider reducing your meals, but you're going to probably need to wait a little bit longer, like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, so that your stomach is empty. But usually it's only about an hour after eating a meal that you would need to wait to eat the Access bar to make it work well. I also wanted to let you know that not just regular everyday athletes like you and I are using this product, but also world-class athletes are using it. We've had many U.S. Olympians use it, a world-known swimmer using it. I've met all of these people personally. I've heard all of their stories personally, and it's really incredible just to hear how their favorite products are usually the Access bar and the Sustain Sport drink. They also tend to like the formula that Melaleuca uses for their protein drinks. But I loved when they gave their testimony for the Access bar, because that was, coming from an athlete of that caliber, they're not going to put, power bars or Cliff bars into their body. They're going to be putting Access bars into their bodies. So what about you? How can this change things for you? Think about it utilizing a natural source of energy, having better body function, improving your performance, less recovery time, making you stronger. I believe that knowledge is power only if you choose to take action. This is great to use for your kids. Let's get them off of those sugary monster drinks. Let's get them using an energy source that's actually good for them. So in your next order, you may want to consider trying one of the pantry packs of either the shakes or the bars. And a pantry pack is just going to save you a little bit of extra money. But these bars usually end up going for about $1.50 each, which is so reasonable and so well worth it. I buy 3 boxes of bars just for myself, because I have one literally every single day. So that's the Access bar. I hope that encourages you to really utilize the products that you have right at your fingertips. Learn about the science behind them. Nobody else makes these products. No other company is like this company.